If anybody shows up, they show up. So I lost sleep about our program today last night. I don't know if it was anxiety or being obsessive or just really creative, like in that creative spot where you can't go to sleep, but something just wasn't quite working. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to go with it. And obviously I'm by myself again. Larry's playing in a tournament up at Scioto in Columbus. So he's gone. So you're stuck with me for one more week.
That's the first I play.
All right. Yeah. The tennis balls. So what I would like you to do is take your shoes off. You can leave your socks on, and you're going to roll your foot over the tennis ball while I'm talking. So you're just going to massage your foot, roll it around underneath there. There's all kinds of good stuff with reflexology in your foot. And if Moby steals your ball, I have more, okay? He's been a ball thief all morning. But rub it on one foot and then switch to the other. And what does it feel like to put pressure on it? What does it feel like to do it lightly? Before I put my shoe on. If you need neck relief, it's right here underneath your big toe. So like that big joint there in your big toe, that's where you get your neck relief, okay? Low back is in a couple different spots, but you can definitely get it on your heel here, all right, and on the top of your foot, which you can't really roll the ball on the top of your foot, but you can actually massage it with your hand. But there's also other kinds of cool stuff that you can get to through your feet, all right? So that's your job. While I'm talking, you're playing with the ball underneath your foot, okay?
So if we fall flat on our face, bouncing ball while we're doing this, it's okay?
It's okay, yeah, absolutely. So some of you are sitting on discs. The reason for that is it helps us warm up our spine. When you're sitting there, you can rock side to side a little bit, okay? You can also kind of do small hip circles. Don't hula yourself off of your chair, all right? The whole idea is to loosen up that spine. It's actually a little bit better for your back when you're sitting in a chair to sit on a disc, or they make these balls you can put underneath your legs too, but we're trying to keep your spine kind of active as you sit there, so you're not like this when we get up to start moving. Because today, I wanted to talk about balance and then something called ground force or ground reaction force. So today has a little bit more to do with your bodies and kind of what's going on in your body when you hit a golf ball. This does apply to golf. We're not just giving ourselves little massages all morning long, but it does apply to golf. Okay. So basically, your balance, it's an object with its center over its base. Okay. So our base in this case is our feet. Our center's like way up here though. If you take all of our mass, our center's like way up here, and then the part that controls it is way up here. So it really is a full body workout just to stand and balance, all right? Little people, we watch how they wobble and all that kind of stuff as they gain their balance. So as big people, we struggle with it too. So in our golf motion, we want to try to find balance today, all right? So the other thing is, when we swing outside our natural tempo, we lose our balance in our golf motion. And then we're reliant on our hands to try to save it. If we have really good hands, they try to save our shot. So your tempo matches your personality, believe it or not. So if you're swinging and trying to be someone you really aren't, I can tell in your golf swing, because you're going to be off balance. You're going to be swinging really hard in for the trees, and you'll be like wobbling all over the place. Like, that's not your personality, that's not your tempo. It's crazy though. If you watch, Larry's a bigger person than I am. His tempo is just a little more forceful. Mine's just a little more deliberate, a little more even paced, okay? If I try to swing hard, I can sometimes do it, but most of the time I'll fall off balance.
See, she fell first.
She doesn't even have a disc. And she's on the floor. Oh my goodness. But also if we're in a state of tension or we're being rigid, we're going to fall off balance. So if I have my golf club right here, and if I swing my arms really hard, it's going to pull me off balance, okay? But if I try to stay in balance, I've got a pretty good sequence, all right? And I know you might feel like, oh, I'm not hitting it as hard as I can, or I'm not putting enough power. That's actually more efficient than when you do swing hard. So if I swing this club really hard and I pull myself off balance, I just pulled myself out of my posture. I didn't deliver the energy into the golf ball like I want to. And I looked really cool for a second, but my golf ball didn't go anywhere. Okay? So our whole job today is we're going to take swings, and your job is to stay in perfect balance when we do it. And I think if you can stay relaxed when you do it, your golf ball is going to go a lot farther than maybe it has been. Now the wind and the temperatures today will affect that as well. But I think overall you're going to feel better about the way you're striking it. It'll feel more solid to you. Okay. And I'm sorry my notes go all over the place because this is pretty much where my brain was last night. So we can affect balance in our setup. Okay. We want, just as let me back up, as a human being, if my major load-bearing joints, so my ankles, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, if they are all in alignment from this side, my ears, I'm going to be in pretty good balance. But it's when we start to move our load-bearing joints where we fall out of balance. And that's when injury happens too. Because if I go like this and I walk like this all day long, my muscles are compromised. My tendons are compromised. And they're going to wear out, they're going to get injured, sore, whatever. But if I can stand here and use my skeleton to support itself, and my joints are on top of each other, now I'm going to be in balance a lot better, more often. So in golf, we try to set up with our feet pretty much underneath our hip bones. Every now and then we'll get a student to narrow their stance, sometimes permanently, sometimes just for a drill, just so they can learn something. We very rarely make people really wide. Some people feel like if I get wide, I'm really balanced. But what I've just done is I've just taken my joints out of position from each other. So they're not parallel to each other anymore, they're not parallel to the floor. My knees are way out here, but my hips are here. So if I can get you to get your ankles right underneath your hip bones when we hit golf balls, you're going to be better balanced. Also, if we can turn our front foot towards the target, it gives us more space to turn into. So if I keep my foot closed or even pigeon-toed on my front side, I'm going to fall off balance because I have nowhere to go. And I'm destroying my ankle, my knee, my hip, all that good stuff if I do it enough. And I do hit balls like every day, so that's not good. We don't want that, okay? So in our golf motion, we can find better balance just in our setup. And I think you've probably heard Larry and I talk over and over again, set up, set up, set up, set up. It's important. It's huge. And then there's this thing called ground force. And there's some crazy information about ground force out there in golf swings. And the whole idea is like Newton's third law. If you press down into the ground, it's going to press back. So if you create pressure in one direction, it's going to react and come back at you. And we have a long drive guy that we work with. His name is Scott Smith. And these guys are huge, and their swing speeds are fast, and they're strong. But they actually have very little ground force. And what I mean by that is they're not trying to push down into the ground. They're actually trying to support with their feet, and they're trying to rotate their upper body as best as they can, as strong as they can, as hard as they can. But they're not doing it by like grinding into the ground and leaping up, okay? Because if we push into the ground's going to push us that way. And I don't want to go that way. I want to go towards my target. I get power from rotating my chest. I get power from rotating my upper body as fast as I can, not by going up in space. Okay, so you'll hear on TV, oh, they're pushing off their back foot. Well, if I push off my back foot, my whole center just moved. I've got power going into the ground, and now it's going straight up this way, and that's not where I want to go. I want to go that way. So my feet are just supporting me. And the idea that I have very little ground force, where I'm not really grabbing the ground, I'm just supporting myself, okay? I know it's a little bit of a heady concept, but the whole idea is I don't want you to feel like you're pushing off the ground to hit a golf ball that way. I want you to feel like you're on top of your feet, and you're just going to turn your upper body as best you can. And that's what's going to make our golf ball go that way, okay? All right? So there's a drill. And I'm gonna bring this half roller down with us today. You're welcome to hit golf balls off of it. You don't have to. We often hit balls off the disc too, which is a really tough drill because you're like, both feet are wobbling. It's a great leg workout. But you can actually hit golf balls off of this roller. And the whole idea is if I push off this roller, I'm gonna fall off. So I'm not trying to push off. I'm just supporting myself. I'm just trying to make a golf swing and stay in balance. Okay? So you can hit golf balls on this roller today and see what you find. And then there's another drill. And I don't hit golf balls this way, but I do take swings this way. So this whole thing about ground force, if I was really putting effort down into this roller, I would certainly fall off. So I'm trying to be as light as I can this way. And I can get set up. And if I keep my center over, I can make a golf swing and stay in balance on the roller. Alright, so I'm not pushing down into the roller, I'm just trying to support myself. And all my power comes from the rotation on the top. Okay? I'm not going to let anyone do this today. Alright?
Oh, come on.
That's OLLI 2.0. Alright? Unless you want to. Alright? Okay.
Is that extra disclaimer with the sign?
Yeah, that's an extra one. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, sometimes if you're out there playing golf and you'll see how people's spikes have like destroyed the tee box from people in front of you. That's just people really trying to use their legs and dig in. And it's funny because you can see where their feet have been on the tee box. When I hit a shot, you really can't see where my feet have been. There might be little imprints, but they're not like ground in there. Okay, so I want you to be light on your feet. Moral of the story, be light on your feet today. Alright? But let your feet be underneath you. Okay? So we don't have legs up in the air. Alright.
Oh, it's a little different though if you're hitting out of the sand though, aren't you?
Well, yeah, we kind of dig
in.
in the sand, but a lot of that's for us to try to, one, feel what the sand feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if you get below the surface of the sand, it's easier for you to hit behind the golf ball just a little bit. Okay, so if my feet are actually lower than my golf ball in a sand shot, I'm more likely to hit behind it and hit a really good sand shot.
Gotcha.
That's an awesome question though. Yep, you're right. But sand shots especially, we're not going to really get there, but you're totally right. If you push off in a sand shot, your foot's going to slide right out from underneath you because it's sand. It moves. So a really great drill we do is we actually hit shots in the bunker, and it teaches us to swing in tempo, because if we don't, it's a really bad golf shot. Awesome point though, I love it. I love it. Alright, so we are actually going to do more exercises in here today. That's why I tried to spread out your chairs a little bit so you don't hit each other. Good morning! So, the exercises we're going to do, they may seem simple to you. The whole idea is if I don't wake up your central nervous system, if I don't wake up the stuff on the inside, the outside, the more complicated moves won't happen as easily, okay? So they might seem basic and like, why am I doing this? But one, I think you'll feel a big difference in your body, and two, it'll make it easier for us to swing a golf club when we go down there, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do first, you're already working on your feet. How's that feeling, by the way?
Good.
You feel pretty good?
Yeah.
Giving yourself a little massage there? Yeah? Good. It's something easy you can do at home. You can do it with a golf ball too, but it's a little harder on your feet. But so what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna borrow a chair so I can do this too. You get to stay in your seat for this first one. So you're going to try to sit up tall, and if you're sitting on a disc, you can stay on it. But you're going to grab, you're going to grab the underneath side of your chair with, let's start with your right hand. We're going to lift up with our left hand, and then you're just going to gently, hold on, I did that backwards. I'm sorry, put your arms down. We're going this way. So you're leaning against it, so you got a a little bit of tension here through your right arm, and you're leaning towards your left side. But again, no falling off the chair. Okay? So we're just looking for like a gentle move here through our neck and our shoulder. Please don't pull too hard.
Try
Okay.
to keep our back straight or not?
Yeah, back should be straight, but tilted to the left. So you might have a curve in the right side of your body, but not this way. Okay? And then just the opposite. So put your left hand underneath the chair, and you're going to reach down with your right arm. So like I feel more on my left side this morning. I feel a little bit more, not pull so much, but a little bit more of a stretch. Alright, come back up to center. Then you're going to take your left hand and put it on your right knee, and gently, I want you to try to reach for the back of your chair. And if you feel like you've got space and can go farther, go ahead and do it. Okay, but you're going to try to look over your right shoulder as much as you can. Again, please don't put yourself in a position to pull anything. Alright, come back to center. We're going to take your right hand, put it on your left knee, look over your left shoulder, reach for the back of your chair. While you're doing this, I want you to notice, is one side tighter than the other? If there's any kind of pain, you want to just kind of come out of it just a little bit. Go ahead and come back to center. And then you can try again and try to go a little farther. But the idea isn't like, oh, Melissa's over here, so I'm going to get over there. No, don't do that. Alright? We're moving at our own pace. Okay. So now, I'm going to get you out of your chair. And you can use the back of your chair to support yourself. I want you to try to get your ears over your shoulders, over your hips, over your knees, over your ankles, so that you're standing as tall as you can. And we're going to do heel raises. So your toes need to be pointing straight ahead. So check your toes. Alright, good, 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 good. And you're just going to go straight up, like there's a string on your head going up towards the ceiling. So we're going to try to not lean forward and do this, and we're going to try to not lean back. We're just going to try to be straight and try to go straight up. So your chair is there to help if you need it. Okay? And I kind of want you to try to feel like you're rolling right through your entire foot, and like those toes are spread out as much as they can, and get the full effect of using your whole foot. Because our feet get all like curled up in those shoes. And if you feel a little burn through your calves, it's a good thing. And it might start to go up your hamstring and into your glute, and that's all good. That's not like an injury pain, that's just a little burn, like, hey, I'm using this muscle, I haven't done that in a while. Okay, now you're going to put your heels together with your toes out as best you can. If this is a struggle, that's just your internal hip rotation that we're struggling with, and that's okay. Alright, and we're just going to go straight up again. And every now and then, kind of check, make sure your heels are still together, because sometimes our heels will start working back out. So few people today, you're going to hit a lot of golf balls. But that'll help you stay warm too. Okay, and then the last one is toes together, heels out. And this is actually external rotation because our hips are going out, or our legs are going that way. And again, you're going to try to go straight up. Starting to get a good burn. Yeah, good. So believe it or not, if you did this every morning as soon as you get out of bed, you'd feel more balanced in the way you walk all day long. Okay? And you can do it again before you go to bed. And it doesn't really take a lot of time. Okay? Your legs might feel a little different, and that's okay. We just worked your lower leg muscle, which is so important because that's our connection in our gallstone to the ground. Okay. Alright, now we're going to do those arm circles we've been doing. So thumbs are forward. Since we've got these mirrors now, if you can see yourself, kind of check yourself out, like, am I level or am I like flying this airplane sideways, okay? Just try to see if we can get level. And just double check your toes that they're pointing forward, okay? Alright, then we're going to flip your thumbs over and go backwards.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Look at all this.
Alright, thumbs forward again. We're starting to get a little burn, that's okay. If it's more intense, you don't have to keep going. Again, these are little movements, but they have a huge purpose. Alright, then flip them over. Alright, go ahead and put those arms down. Now we're going to do those elbow curls. So your fingers are on your temples, your thumbs on your chin. You're going to reach back and try to touch your elbows in front of you. Reach back. Here we go. Just kind of notice, are you changing your posture to get those elbows together? What's going on there? And again, if you did this in the morning, every morning, it would get easier. And this has everything to do with your muscles in your upper back and your middle back and your shoulder blades.
Should have done those last.
Two more. A really good one is if you're okay getting on the floor, is actually lay on the floor with your knees bent, and you basically press your elbows into the floor, and then you go ahead and touch them on top of you. You press them into the floor and touch them in front of you. That way we get a little bit more of the shoulder blade engaged. But I know not everyone's okay with being on the floor, but you can do it in bed too. It's a little softer, but you can do it in bed as well. Okay? Alright. This next one, you can keep your chair handy if you need to, but what we're going to do is opposite arm, opposite leg. So you're going to try to bring your knee up towards 90 degrees as best you can, and then the opposite arm is going to go up. And then we're going to switch, okay? So if you need to use your chair to hold on to, please do, alright? Don't feel like you have to do this all alone, but we're going to do opposites here. And this one you can do in bed laying as well. There we go. Good. He's like, what is going on? Hey, buddy. It's okay. Yeah. We're pretty sure he was abused, so anything above your head he gets kind of nervous about. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead and do like 2 more on each side, okay? Good boy. Good boy. Here we go.
You okay, Mom? I'm okay.
You okay? Alright. We're going to do like those dish rag hands again. So you can make your feet just a little wider here, but you're just going to kind of let your arms be loose, and we're going to turn side to side, and you can start out small at first. Don't hit your partner, okay? And then you can make them just a little bit bigger, or see how far you can turn. Are we starting to loosen up? Yeah. Does anybody have anything that's really calling to them right now? Like this is bothering me, or it's still tight? I need a
Right
little.
there.
Is it low? Low back. Okay. Okay. So let's stop that. I want you to do some glute squeezes. Basically, you're gonna squeeze your butt cheeks together and relax. Make sure your toes are pointing forward. You're standing tall. All your joints are stacked. This is kind of a great practice at the grocery store if you're waiting in line. Okay? Like, hey, I can work on my body while I'm waiting for these people in front of me to go away. Yeah, absolutely. But I always check at the bank, at the grocery store, are my toes forward? Because oftentimes we're this way.
Yeah.
And what this does, it actually puts curve in your low back. A lot of gentlemen struggle with this, with extra weight in their belly, they go forward this way. And we've just put pressure in our low back. So we want to try to keep our toes going forward, okay, as much as we can. It's just awareness. What's my body doing? You getting some relief in the scale?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Is low back still kind of sticky?
Gets better.
It's getting better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you want to, you can hold on to a chair, but if you just kind of like tap your foot in front of the other one, just from side to side a little bit, we'll get those hips going a little bit more. Keep on going. Alright, how's everybody feeling there? Does anybody need anything else? Or if you want to share with me when we get down there, you can, and I'll give you another stretch, okay? If you don't want to share in front of everyone, that's fine. So our job on the driving range, so originally I said bring a wedge, an 8-iron, and like a hybrid or a fairway wood, okay? And we're going to warm up with wedges. You can start with half swings if you'd like, so that would be kind of like hip high, or 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock swings where we're just swinging here to here. Your job for every swing this morning is staying in balance. If you fall out of balance, you're not being true to your tempo, alright? Okay, so you're going to stay in balance. When we get to a full swing, so I would say, let's see, so I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, perfect. Actually, if everyone wants their own station this morning, go for it. We've got enough golf balls down there. Just don't wear yourself out, pace yourself, okay, till I can come over and help you. But your job when we get to full swing is 1, you gotta stay balanced. 2, you're gonna finish in what we call a letter T finish, okay? So your spine and the club make a T, alright? So my spine and my club make a lowercase t. And that's your job for every swing, is to get here and hold it until that golf ball hits the ground. And even if you hit a worm burner, I want you to fake it, alright? Wow, check that one out! Alright? But it's all about balance and tempo today, and the finishing balance, because believe it or not, getting to here affects everything that happens before it, okay? If your brain's so smart, if it knows you're gonna fall out of balance, you will physically not be able to get back to here. But if it knows you're trying to stay balanced, impact position should be so much better, okay? It actually works backwards, alright? So just the goal of saying, okay, I'm gonna get here every single time, it should help that impact position, okay? Now, things can get a little weird, you know, maybe posture's not great or whatever. I really wanna encourage everyone to turn their forward foot out towards the target, your target side foot. Turn it out a little bit. It's gonna take pressure off your ankle, your knee, your hip, and it gives you a wider base to stay balanced when you turn through, okay? Alright? The heaters are not turned on yet, okay? Fall kind of crept up on us. However, the building blocks a lot of the wind, and you'll be moving. I'll be the one that's cold, because I'll be just standing there watching. But as you move, you'll warm up. But just, you don't need to turn the dials, nothing's gonna happen. Okay? Nothing will come out, and if it does, I'll be really concerned, because it's not supposed to yet. Nothing's been switched over for fall or winter. So take your time, put your shoes back on, grab your clubs. The golf balls are already down there, and I'm gonna work my way through the line again. And if you have questions, please stop me.
I need to borrow clubs.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I don't think you want this one. It's got step in it.